What's going on, guys? This is Matt Osmond, Blinky's Offset Barbecue. And folks, it's just me tonight. There ain't nobody here. A lot of the boys are doing other stuff. Some people are in Florida with the mouse. Some people are at ball games. Some people, got a little tummy ache. But it's going to be me and our fabulous guest here for tonight's edition of Right on Cue. That all being said, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start out thanking our sponsors. We've got Smoky Woods Barbecue. We've got the Barbecue Bus. We, of course, have Brothers Barbecue Supply Store. But tonight's show, we have some amazing cooks. I have competed against these guys and lost to them. Others have competed against them, and they beat them a couple times. But there were a number of people who very recently went toe-to-toe with this team and with these guys who I've gotten to know over past months, years even, I guess. Several points of communication, several things in common. And we're going to go ahead. We're going to bring them on, and we're going to bring on the folks of Mind If I Smoke. We've got Mr. Barbecue Mike, and we've got Jason.
Good
Gentlemen,
evening.
how we doing?
Doing great,
Hey,
man.
how's it going?
We're doing fantastic. Sorry you guys got stuck with just me. We don't have Lurch. He's down there with the mouse. We don't have Keaton. We don't have AJ. We don't have. So it's just me, folks.
It's
I
all good.
apologize to disappoint you, but we're going to do our best to keep things lively here. We're going to go ahead and start out in the most traditional fashion. We're going to let you guys introduce yourself to our entire audience.
Go ahead, Mike.
All right. Hey, I'm Barbecue Mike, and I'm the head cook of Mind If I Smoke. I've been cooking for 3 or 4 years doing competitions. And just recently, Jason and I started cooking the Alabama circuit. And we've been having a lot of fun, meeting people, made some really good friends. And, one of my bucket lists was to be on this show. And tonight I'm on it. So I'm a happy camper.
That's that off.
Yeah.
Same here. I'm Jason Penley, and I cook with Barbecue Mike some. We teamed up last year and done the Alabama Battle Royal, and placed third in it. Done decent. Got a GC last year, and I got bit by the bug. So this is only I've done 1 full year of competing with Michael, and I've got 1 comp under my belt this year. So we're definitely coming on.
All right, fair enough. Look, for the rest of the show and the questions I'm going to ask, just for simple order, Mike, I'm going to say it to both of y'all, but Mike, you answer first, and Jason, you finish it out.
Okay.
All right, so what led y'all into the competition world? Was it kind of more, much like all of us with barbecue pitmasters back in the day? Did you have a friend or a cousin or anybody? Did you stumble upon one? Like, give us your kind of quick origin story of how you got in or were aware of competition barbecue.
Well, like a lot of people, I did start watching Barbecue Pitmasters, and I saw that, and it just woke something up inside of me that I wanted to go do that one day, but I never really thought I would. I didn't know that I was able to break into that world to do this. And then I met a buddy of mine named Sean Cosby, and Sean cooks with Choo Choo Barbecue, and I went and helped him out a couple times. And man, it just exploded in my mind at that point. I just love it.
Do you remember those contests that you helped them out at?
I went to World Foods with Sean in Dallas, Texas, back in 22. And, just Lafayette, the Honeybee, I went and helped him out at the Honeybee. Just being a box runner and watching what he does, cooking all the meats and finishing everything and just being so particular with putting it in a box and making it look beautiful. It was just like, man, I told Sean, I'll never do this. I just want to go help you out. And then here I am.
Yeah, pants on fire.
Yeah.
Jason, what about you?
So I did not watch Barbecue Pitmasters back in the day. I've been backyard barbecuing for years. I had a pull behind offset in the early 2000s. But I kind of along the lines of Michael, I had no intentions of competing in barbecue. It did not interest me in the least. And Michael and I met through Owl's Nest and stuff, and he was already competing. And, of course, everybody, you need to get into competition. You need to get in competition. And I'm a technical guy, and I'm kind of I told Cody earlier with Rolling Smoke, I'm kind of a nerd deep down. I like the technical aspect of stuff. I like why does this happen? What makes this happen? So I got to doing a little more study. And of course, these guys, come on, go compete with us. Well, sure enough, here I go. And then the science behind the competition side of it, got the best of me. And here I am.
Look, the barbecue competition world and barbecue in general is greater for you two gentlemen in it. We've gone toe to toe, as I kind of mentioned. I came in 2 wheels up at Steve's
Came
event.
in hot.
But Steve, I know you're listening, man. We, use us. Let's get one of those things again. I'll be on time this time, if not early.
He's having one. When is it, Michael? It's not a rib cook though. It's he sent an email out earlier. It's a pork loin and steak, and it's the Ottawa barbecue bash barbecue.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, it's happening in Ottawa this year. It's in the May. It's in the next couple of months.
Okay.
But yeah, they're having a big deal up there in Ottawa this year.
Well, that'll be fun to go to. Absolutely. Steve does a great job, and for folks that don't know, Steve Ray of Owl's Nest, they're in Ottawa. Next to Midnight Oil, fantastic place as well. But that being said, and now, Mike, what do you, because Jason says he's the more technical kind, right? Is that your approach to it? Do you get as down into the details and stuff as Jason is?
Oh, I'm going to tell you. I mean, I think I do. I try to. We're Facebook friends, Blinky, you know that, and some of the people watching. I practice all the time.
8 days a week.
Yeah. 8 days a week. During the middle of the week, if I need to cook ribs, I just want to. I want to do the best I can do, and everything is a science. And you try to recreate things. It tastes good this time. Can I do it again? What can I do to tweak it? What can I do to make it look a little better? Make it cook a little faster. All these things, and it's a constant battle in my brain. I wake up thinking about barbecue. I go to bed thinking about barbecue. So,
okay. And would you say that since y'all have teamed up, Jason kind of brings in more of that aspect, or do you think that he's a bit more spirit? And we're going to get to you here in a second, Jason, because I got a couple questions about how detailed and technical. Or is it really by feel, right? Like, as everybody says, you got to just, take off the hot gloves and put, one vinyl on and just touch that sizzling meat at 200 tender. What would you say?
Well, it is a lot by feel. When we're cooking our meats and looking for doneness, the tenderness, it's a tenderness game. People get all wrapped up in, I need this profile and I need that profile. And I'm guilty of that. I love recipes, but at the end of the day, if you don't cook it right, you're not going to score.
That's right.
So the tenderness factor is what we're all chasing every single weekend.
Okay. And Jason, as far as being technical, if I may, are you technical with like different, probes and whatnot, and have peak charts to save, and you take avid notes and things like that? Or is it technical as far as your system, your recipe, your timeline? Well, expound on technicality.
I would say I'm getting to all of the above of what you just mentioned. Myself and ChatGPT has sat down and wrote Excel spreadsheets and to hang up. And when I speak of the technical side of it, I've cooked backyard. I tell everybody, born and raised in the South, I like fall off the bone ribs. That's just me. Before I got into competing, I said, well, a competition rib needs an hour longer. It's not done. But to me, the technical side of it is, how do I get that bite? How do I, that perfect pull from the bone, skin bite through, there's a science to that. And that's what intrigued me.
Okay. So I've done I'm so inconsistent. Let's just be honest with myself and with everybody. I'm consistent in more or less what I bring to comps, but even last year I've been accused of bringing the kitchen sink when I should know better. And it mainly, I guess, goes down to preparation, right? Like, how far in advance are you trimming your meat? Are you doing this? And, what all else? 'Cause we're all people outside of competition barbecue as well. We have, lives outside. So would you say that when it is comp week, when y'all are signed up, you kind of have your Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday list as well going into it for comp week?
Michael, are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There's a list that you have to make sure that you've got everything. So yes, I do have daily things that I do. I make sure that my injections are mixed up. I make sure that I've got my sauces, I've got my butters, I make sure I have tinfoil, everything's in my boxes, because through the week, I tend to drag everything out because I'm practicing, even when I have a good, even when I have a good cook, I tend to, go ahead and practice anyway, because it's just something that I do. I enjoy the cook as much as I enjoy the end product.
What are you doing with all this practice meat? Are your neighbors fatting around now, or is it for sale? Or
well, I do give a lot of it away to my neighbors. I've got some neighbors that'll text me every now and then and say, "Hey, I'd like to have some ribs this weekend." I say, "Okay, I'm cooking some. I got you. I'll take care of you." So they know where to go.
And Jason, what about your weekly timeline?
Well, we say for example, we got home from Singing River Smoke-O-Rama, and I immediately had to go yesterday and start reorganizing, repacking, because I work out of town with my job. I don't know if y'all can tell now, I'm in a hotel. I'm in Vidalia, Georgia. Okay. But I travel with my job every week. So, and my schedule is not very regular. It's I never know what days I'm going to be in town on any given week. So I have to make do, with my time when I can. So I'll sit down and I'll trim a bunch of chicken and pack it up and have it ready. But as far as comp week and stuff, I'm trying to do it as much beforehand as I can, just because I'm not going to be home. Like, well, this week, for instance, we done this weekend. Now, my only free day this week before we go to smoke on the shores is Thursday. That's the only day I have. So it's a whirlwind for me for sure.
So because it's the two of y'all that you've been together on this team for a little while, is it time based? Is it distance? How are you guys choosing which ones y'all get together and go compete at?
Well, year before last, Jason and I started out at Scottsboro, and we just wanted to cook things. We wanted to get more into the Alabama sides, and luckily, we're within a few hours of a lot of good contests.
Yeah.
So, we started the Scottsboro event. We had no idea that they were doing a battle royal down there. So we went to the cooks meeting, and I looked at Jason after the cooks meeting. I said, "Hey, let's do the battle royal next year." And he's like, "Sure, let's do it." And so yeah, it is more, just what's available to us. I don't want to drive more than about 4 hours, although we may have to, to try to pick up some contests, because things are closing around us. We lost Calhoun. The Lafayette competition doesn't have backyard this year. So I'm willing to drive a little further, but typically until now, it's been a distance thing for me, what I choose.
Okay. Jason, is that kind of, do you guys?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, most of the stuff we do right now or up to now has been within 2.5 hours or so, 3 hours max. What this past weekend was 2 hours and 40 minutes for us. So that's generally what we've been doing, and I think I'm pretty sure that this past weekend was our furthest one that we go to so far. But like Michael said, I think we've lost 5. I think we counted one day 4 or 5 local sanctioned events around us this year that we were planning on doing. So yeah, we're gonna have to branch out if we want to cook more.
Yeah.
With it, it's very unfortunate. We could make probably 5 series of shows and have several people on about why competitions are either being canceled for hopes of a better year the following, or just completely saying, hey, we're done with it all the way up. But to that point, do you feel like um, the reason why comps are going is it just about money? Is it about time? Or is there something else brewing where the pizzazz is off, or perhaps, certain teams dominate and other newer teams who kind of get into it, call it quits and don't want to fool with it? Like, what overarching reason do you think, or is it just everything? Every comp is different.
Um, as far as the comps dying, or
Yeah, like just being, canceled for a year,
yeah,
because there are some that have canceled and then will skip a year. And I'm not talking, back in
yeah,
COVID times or anything. They're just like, hey, we're not doing it this year. Smoke Slam is one, which is a whole kind of other a bigger, but Galax is another one, right? And so just they said, hey, we're not doing it this year.
Well, there's several that we've lost. That it's been Calhoun, Georgia. Let's use it for an example. Calhoun was a great competition. We loved it. Scored well there. Close to the house, about an hour away.
Mhm.
They quit because of the financial part of it. They wasn't making money from
Yeah.
the barbecue side of it. They're still having their festival, but the barbecue side just didn't bring in enough money. I hope they see that it brought in more than they thought it did after this year, and they don't do it and they bring it back. But from what I'm hearing, the competitions that are being stopped are generally financial.
Okay. Jason, you'd agree with
Yeah,
that, or
yeah, same here. But and I will, I can really only speak from my experience, because I'm still relatively new. But when I first got into it with these guys, I didn't know how to find these things, and now I know they're on the KCBS website. And somebody asked me the other day, actually, like, how do you know where these comps are at? And I said, well, of course, they're on the KCBS website. But I said, a lot of times you just about got to find one or get on their, their Facebook group. And it's just, a lot of it's word of mouth. And once you start, they're kind of repetitive. But unless you're in some of these Facebook groups and stuff, they're kind of hard to find.
okay.
But I think
What
it is a lot of financial, because I put on a non-sanctioned event close to us last year, and it was very small. I think we had, what, Michael, 8 teams?
Yeah, something
And
like that.
it's say 7 or 8 teams. It's tough. It's a lot more work putting on a competition than it is competing in one.
I have with some local buddies around here, and I want to so bad. I really do, because there's something to me about folks who are teams and compete, and then if they end up organizing it, you see it from both sides. And I think, honestly, if you did it in that order, if you were a team and you went out and did XYZ amount of comps, but then put on one, I feel like, yeah, obviously you're bound by your, donations and sponsors and rules, but like, I just kind of feel like maybe those are some of the better run competitions, because you can't not see it through a team's lens of
Unless you've been one.
unless you've been one.
Yep.
Correct.
Yep.
You can get all the input you can, but if you've been there, man, if I ever, I've got notes in my phone of like, now I would want to do a offbeat or my own spin and pizzazz, to where it likely would not be KCBS sanctioned, unfortunately, because you kind of have. Now, I'm not trying to mess with the meats and whatnot, but I would really like to have some fun things. I'll give you an example. So, if granted a space big enough, if you took a spot, right, like a cook site, 100 yards, 200 yards, 300, 400 yards, or whatever, you could get some sort of concession, right? And I'll give you an example. You get 30 seconds extra of a turn in time, but you have to cook 500 yards away, right? Just something that's different.
Put a twist on it.
Yeah, a little, just little tiny, and that's probably dumb for most. And here's the other thing: if you cook, you could have your Cadillac spots right there next to the turn-in table. If you took one of those, you don't have the full 10 minutes. You have 6 minute window, right?
Based on distance.
Based off of distance, the little tiny little, would you take a further out, and these whole spots in the middle are just something like that, because it's different.
Let me throw this out there as being a relatively newcomer to competing. We compete backyard. It's 2 meets. It's to us, it's less stressful. It is less cost, but just because these guys are cooking in the backyard series, it's some dang good food. And to me, as a newcomer, if I was on my own, it's going to be tough to hang with these guys. So that may, what do you think that would steer some teams away? They get their feet wet one time and they're like, whoo, this is insane.
I mean, yes and no. And look, I would go as crazy. Remember when we were all in school, the the relay race, where you'd have like the dizzy bat contest, and you had to drink like a root beer and sit down type thing. I would do something like that. I mean, that would be so. And now, mind you, that you could have a table, right? But and that would be a bonus, because I don't think I would even want to, do 7 times around the baseball bat, drink a root beer, and then go pick up my turn-in box.
Yeah, right? Then carry your box. Yeah.
But if it was a guarantee and there was an extra points, and I mean, you can't overdo it if something like that were to ever, but almost dumb carnival type stuff, but set in a barbecue competition to where, you might start on the board with a total of 10 extra points, and it's available to everybody, right? It would be available to everybody who wanted to do so. Even the best teams could go and say, no, I'll cook the furthest and I'll do the dizzy bat turn in and what. Okay, then you get those points, Bubba. But for anybody else who's like, nah, I'm just going to cook my cook and go, and then okay too, because there'd be some be some content.
There are some guys on the backyard circuit that I would like to see do the dizzy bat turn in.
Oh yeah.
I'd almost be like, I'll just sit on the sidelines and watch this, or get my phone ready,
Yeah.
Look, in the early days, I cooked next to some old boys who they did the dizzy bat before going to turn in it, walking wobbly. So I've seen that from a few teams.
What is it Logan says? They're a drinking team and not a cooking team.
Oh man, I forget the name. It was in Clarksville while I met him, and we kind of cooked over here, and Logan had his setup over there. Man, he was a riot that weekend. I think Big B swept every category or something like that. That was a hard splash down into it. But all right, so let's talk about this past weekend, because y'all won the Grand. Okay, so take me a little bit back. I'm not just gonna say, oh, how's your cook? No. I want to know at what point of y'all teaming up together did this cook fall on your calendar? Were you hyped about it? Were you interested about something else? See, there you go. But like a Chinese, exactly, Steve. Where was y'all's thought process? Were you pumped about it because it's kind of earlier in the year? Take me through the inception of this weekend, and then all the way through awards.
Okay. Well, last year Jason and I cooked this same competition. And we love to cook, so we show up at the contest, and at that point we didn't really know anybody. This time last year, had no true friends. I'd met Todd Hudson because I sold him a Gateway drum, but other than that, I didn't know anybody in the Alabama side. So we cooked, and I think I had a 8th or 9th place ribs, and Jason had a mid-pack chicken.
I got beat up.
So it was Jason's first, second KCBS, actually. Yep. The second KCBS contest. So, we cooked all last year, and we both improved and love what we do. And we came to this year and we're like, okay, our goal is to try to do better in this contest than we did last year. So, that was our goal, just to do better, try to improve. We've both done a lot of cooking, a lot of practicing, and through the cook itself, it was cold that morning. I put ribs on, and I'm in Jason's trailer, and I'm peeking out the door, just looking at the drums because the wind is blowing 30 miles an hour, and it's 30-something degrees. Felt like dead
drums.
Yeah, felt like dead of winter. Honestly, and we love to cook on our drum. Actually, Jason makes our drums that we cook on, but so we're during the middle of the cook, and we're just doing our own thing, having no clue that that we could potentially win it. We were just trying to do better than we did the year before.
Yep.
And, we get to turn ins. Our boxes look pretty good. And I remember Hunt came up and he's like, well, guys, how do you like your turn ins? I'm like, well, I like my turn in. It was pretty good. He's like, oh, man, if you like it, the judges are going to hate it. You can just forget it. And he starts laughing. And, I'm like, yeah, you're probably right. Because usually when you hate it, they love it. When you love it, they hate it.
The rule of thumb, absolutely.
Rule of thumb. So yeah, and we made our turn ins, and we're sitting there at awards with our buddies, and I'm sitting beside Todd. Todd Hudson's beside me on the left, and they're going through the rib count. From 10th, they pay through 10th place, and that's an amazing contest to cook at because you've got 10 chances to get a little bit of your money back. Yep. Hear your name called. So he goes 10, 9, 8, all the way up through second place. And I looked at Todd and I said, well, I guess my ribs wasn't good enough today, buddy. And he's like, well, I don't know. Mine probably wasn't either. Next thing you know, it's first place, Mind If I Smoke. And I looked at Jason and grinned and started walking up there. And he said, with a 180. I'm like, holy cow, man, that's awesome. So I go up there and, me and Jason go up and we get the award, and I'm smiling ear to ear. We've got some friends that we all talk. Todd Hudson and Cody Howard and Jason. We've got a little group that we bounce ideas off each other. We help each other out. Cody's been a huge factor and kind of mentoring me and Jason because he's an awesome cook, and so is Todd. Todd's a great cook too. So we kind of bounce things off each other. And again, at no point did I think that I was going to win first place ribs, and especially with a 180. I mean, that's bucket list right there.
Absolutely. And Jason, how did you feel with
that?
Did you elbow
just
him?
To give a little background, like we came into this comp with a brand new unused trailer that I had built. We came into this comp with 2 relatively new drums that I had built. So yeah, we were like
riding on it.
A lot riding on it, and we weren't 100% sure, how it was going to flow, how we wanted everything set up in the new setup. So, I mean, we were just hoping for a name call, let's do our best. We need some points for this battle royal, and let's just go have a good time. And we finished the comp. Me and Michael usually clean up during the I'll look at Cody here. He's so mushy, man. So we're cleaning up and everything, and everything's a 180 to till the awards. We're like, that went actually pretty well. We didn't maybe a little bit of a hiccup. I was having to really push my chicken at the end to get to the temp that I wanted and the feel that I wanted. But nothing we couldn't overcome. But it actually went smooth, honestly, and those are the ones that you're scared of, But we talked on the way home. We had no complaints on the day.
Well, I mean, it's a fantastic way to break in. Obviously, new drums and a new trailer, right?
Yeah.
You take a grand home in it.
Yeah.
I myself actually was fortunate enough to do that with my trailer. It was a non-section event out here. I was blown away. Like again, like you said, we all think we have a great cook, right? But then when it gets down and you're like, me? Like I just won this thing. It's a fantastic feeling. And I haven't GC'd since.
It'll happen. It'll happen.
It's not going to stop me from going out there.
Absolutely.
I mean, but so chicken and ribs are y'all obviously probably two dedicated cookers? I'm guessing. Um, are y'all when you're in it? Uh, are you Jason? Is it really your chicken? And Mike, is it really your ribs? Like, are y'all in the pits in this, or you're kind of mutual respect and saying, hey, you run this and you run that, and I'm here to help, type of thing? Like, what's y'all's dynamic without getting too personal within the cook timeline?
Well, it's exactly my ribs and Jason's chicken.
Okay.
We know what each other is going to be doing basically when they need to do it, but I don't interfere with Jason's chicken unless he needs me to help him, like take the lid off the drum
Okay.
or, hand him something. He does his cook, I do my cook. And at the end of it, we kind of, lean on each other with how does this look? Does the box look good? Tenderness good? Taste good? That kind of thing at the very end of the cook when we're getting ready to box. But otherwise, it's all me on my ribs and it's all Jason on his chicken.
And we're communicating throughout the cook. It's not these are my chicken, or that's your
Right,
ribs.
right.
And Michael goes out there to check ribs. He'll hand me the probe. Or what do you think of this? Or I'll be like, here, let me see what that feels like.
Yeah.
And same thing with chicken. He was watching my chicken drum. Throughout the cook as well. And when it comes to the final, 30 minutes of each protein,
Mm-hmm.
we really come together as one unit. Not
Yep.
that we're not one unit before that, but like he just got his stuff down pat. I've got my stuff down pat, and it just makes it easier. I don't have to worry about ribs. I have to focus solely on chicken, and that's it. Same thing with him on the ribs. He focuses all the way up till noon on the ribs, and then as soon as I get back from my chicken box, I'm like, all right, it's 12:12, it's 12:18. What do you need? What can I do?
Right.
Here's this spec right here. Do you like it? We're tweezering. We come together as one very well at the end.
Yeah, when we need to be one, we're one.
Yeah.
Have both of y'all cooked, sanctioned, non-sanctioned, a contest solo, individually?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've cooked several by myself. Getting my feet wet into the comp world and even some KCBS comps.
I cooked Atlanta barbecue last year by myself. I had some hands with me helping me, but the way we do it's kind of weird. I don't know if you know this, Matt, but like we cook with each other. We've got and Michael's got another guy that he cooks with, Anthony, that does chicken as well. So we'll, as a matter of fact, this weekend, Smoke on the Falls, we're cooking separate. So we just like to cook, and it's not a, I'm cooking against him kind of thing. It's just, man, we're going to show up and cook. This is one contest that Anthony wanted to do this year. He and Anthony always do Smoke on the Falls together, which is perfectly fine. It's no big deal. We're all barbecue family. So, there's not a jealousy, so to speak, amongst this. It's just, man, we like to cook. We like to compete, and we're going to do everything we can to do it.
I have, with several couple other people from time to time, we kicked around the idea of, what they call the super teams and whatnot, and nothing so far. And I've invited myself many different folks or joined up and not cooked under my own flag, but been invited in to cook under other people's flag. And if I'm being honest, there's really only, well, okay, if I ever get a jack draw and were to go to the jack, right, which obviously means I got a GC, but that one I will go cook with somebody who offers me the opportunity.
Absolutely.
But I'm cooking on my own stuff. But other than that, the majors, Murfreesboro, Praise the Lord, and Smoke on the Shores are probably the only two, just me speaking, that I want to 100% cook under my own flag. Like, right. Those two are very special to me. As much as I love Smoke and how close it is, and no offense against Jason and the whole team and volunteer, Murfreesboro has my heart. It is my favorite competition, that I've ever done, and it's because I probably haven't done others, but it's iconic, it's legendary. And then a very close number two is Smoke. Other than that, man, I could give a rip.
Same here.
If I'm a cook is a cook, a walk is a walk. I'm not chasing points. I'm not so boastful that I couldn't join in and do this. And then I'm lucky enough to be invited
Yep.
to another team to cook a category. That's an
Yep.
honor to me. That means someone else is like, hey, maybe this guy ought to come in because, either we're not doing it right or he's done better or whatever it is.
Well, same thing with us. Like Michael helped Sean the weekend before at Smoke on the Shores. Sean with Choo Choo Barbecue. He cooks the pro side. Cody, hollered at me. He didn't have any help coming with him. Usually his family goes, but his wife was working. So he's like, man, if you want to ride up, just be a hand, box run or whatever, come on up and hang out. I didn't turn down that opportunity. I went to Demopolis with him last year, and I haven't got a Rolling Smoke shirt to wear yet, but at awards time, I'm just hanging out in my t-shirt, and here's Cody with the bling. No, I'm just giving him a hard time, but we'll go help anybody. We love to cook, so
what, obviously there's been tons and tons of debate and I haven't heard anything from KCBS, but there was the murmurs and the stuff to the board. And what's y'all's take on 2 meat versus 4 and the real kind of difference between? Because I'll go first. There is a standard gap between, let's say, lower quarter of backyard KCBS teams, right? Folks who are either kind of getting into it and they don't have their bearings yet or whatever, and I'll say lower mid pack of Master Series. I think that's a huge gap. That's my opinion. However, if you took top 15% of all backyard teams, man, I'm telling you, their chicken and rib scores are going to spank the lower Master Series guys like me any day of the week. Any day of the week. Do you think for fellow backyard teams and the name of backyard, how it's belittling and do you think that there should still be a standard deviation and I'll let y'all answer individually, or it should be like, what was the one thing proposed, a 2 meat and a 4 meat, and you declare all KCBS teams declare 2 meat and 4 meat like at the beginning of a comp season year. Go ahead, Mike.
All right. Well, personally, I'm in favor of the 2 meat, 4 meat because I feel like if you are one of those teams that are not in the top part of the backyard side, the top 15, 20%, the only way you're going to get better is to cook against these teams. They're going to beat your brains out. Mm-hmm. Expect that. But you go in humble. You do your best, you take your licks, and you go home and you practice and try to strive to be better. That drives something inside of me. If I go somewhere and just don't get a call, I love to cook, and it's a great thing to do, but it lights a fire inside of me. I want to do better. So the 2 meat, 4 meat thing would definitely make me more competitive because I know what I'm going to be competing against. Not that we're not already competing against some of the best teams in the South anyway on any given weekend on the backyard side. But you incorporate the pro side into that's cooking chicken and ribs. Man, it's a different level at that point. But I'm in favor of it personally.
Okay. Jason?
Yeah, I'm kind of on the side with Michael. It's everybody kind of, we're cooking backyard, and I said, listen, the only difference in backyard and some of these pro teams is they cook 4 meats and we cook 2. Go cook against some of these guys. They're as pro as it gets. We just don't cook brisket and pork. Yeah.
Well, and almost not even how many. I don't know. I don't cook, but I feel like more and more backyard competitions are having pork as a ancillary, but it's required for GC to cook it, but not the scoring, right?
Points.
Is that what y'all have seen in the past? Like, not everyone. Some are just chicken and ribs. I understand, and that's fine. But I feel like pork has been a category, which is for obvious reasons, be careful what I say, pushed upon the backyard teams to cook 3 meats. Would you agree? Is there any rhyme or reason for what I'm saying? Am I off my rocker?
Well, I do agree with you. And we were told, excuse me, we were told last year that some of the comps that were a 2 meat in the Battle Royal were going to be a 3 meat this year. So they are going towards trying to get you to cook more. And I'm going to bring in Calhoun, Georgia, Barbecue Boogie and Blues. They were a 3 meat with a brisket ancillary for the backyard. So that gave you an opportunity to cook 4 meats on that one. And I enjoyed it, did well with it. And, I really prefer the 2 meats, but I can do more if I need to. It's still all good.
Okay.
Yeah, I prefer the 2 meats as well. I mean, I like competing. Don't get me wrong, but I like the laid backness of the 2 meats. It's not near, you're not as crunched on timeline. 12:30 we're done, and I like that. So we're not getting up middle of the night to start a brisket drum, and stuff like that. Plus the cost. We're only having to buy 2 proteins versus 4 proteins, so there is some cost difference there. But I prefer the 2 meats myself, especially being as rookie as I am, just because of timeline, and it's a lot more laid back for me to continue to get my feet wet.
So are we all in agreement? Brisket's the issue, right? Brisket's the problem.
It's expensive.
Boy, howdy is it ever.
Yeah.
And look, I say that as a guy who, for better for worse, I just jumped straight into Masters. I saw the moon and took aim for it, right? And finally, last year at Murphy, got my first ever brisket call.
Awesome.
I had been competing, and never. I had chicken calls and ribs, but never a brisket. And man, I was pumped. I was excited for any call because I don't get them often. But I was like, all right, I finally, in my head, for my personal team goal, I finally hit all 4. I finally can say I've had a call as low as a margin as that is, but I set mine to where I think, because like I said, man, I'm not out doing 25 and 30. I'm not. If I did 15 in a calendar year, I would be ecstatic. I'm probably not doing that, honestly. And my numbers show. And now I also consider non-sanctioned, some of the neighborhoody ones and community type. That's still a competition to me, because it's against these folks. It's against this. Yes, some of the rules, and you don't have to, but nonetheless, it's a barbecue competition. So,
all right, let me ask you this: as a pro team, a pro cook, do you sometimes wish you were only doing 2 meats? I mean, would you rather get more name calls on 2 meats, or a GC on 2 meats, or RGC, or do you like still striving to get that name call in the pro side?
So I have only done 2 comps ever that were only 2 meats, just to be fair. Oh man, that's a great
Sorry, I don't mean to. I shouldn't be asking the host questions.
No, that's perfectly fine. So I'm going to rephrase it, and you tell me would I sacrifice the opportunity of Masters Pro calls for more calls, but it's only 2 meats?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's.
You see, you got me thinking. The wheels are turning. If I did that, because my interest is highly piqued, I would want the opportunity. I would do it for, let's say I'd pledge 2 years, right? Hey, the next 2 years I'm just doing 2 meat comps. I would want the opportunity after 2 years, and I'm not saying that as a time. I'm just saying I would give
for you
2 years of my time to then try to, and then so long as I could go back up to it, because
right.
I feel, because I'm getting more calls in 2 meat contests, right?
Right.
So my scores go up, my walks go. I want to then try to level back up to 4 meets and
see where you stand,
and see where I stand again.
Yeah, and that's understandable.
Yeah, I don't know any better because I just started in Masters and have stayed like a ding dong.
I was just thinking from the side of it, and I mean, it sucks getting beat up all the time, and I mean, it'll get you down. I got beat up last year in Athens, and which I went back and looked at my turn-in boxes. I looked at pictures, and I mean, I deserved what I got, but it's a downer, man. You ride home with wondering what you did, but time after time again, I'm like, ooh, that'd be tough.
Do y'all know who Wes Garrett is? Politically incorrect. Have you
I've heard the name. I don't know him.
He's out of Brandon, Mississippi. Wes has several buds, and Wes, whether you consider me one or not, I am. We sat next to each other at awards at Smoke on the Shores a couple weeks ago. All right, so my boxes, I run Kale. What's the best way? Wes calls my turn-in boxes 80s porn bush boxes because my Kale is just coming out the side.
Need a little trimming, Matt.
Need a little trimming. And I can show you photo after photo. Like, yep, I see where he says that. However, I could give a rip that I don't have that perfect little putting green and it's this and this and that. I don't care. You know why? Because appearance A is the lowest weighted, and B, it's just something green in there. I would do away with garnish like MBN or is it CBA as well, just the foil. I would do away with that, honestly.
Yeah, I agree.
It's same thing with the meat inspection. But anyway, to your point, I don't mind getting my tail whooped because unfortunately I'm used to it, which is what makes those limited calls that I do get that much more joyous, right? Now,
good point.
I don't see myself ever being some of the top, 5-10% teams. I'm sure if I worked at it, I probably could. I have the ability in me. I just don't have the finances and the time to really go. And I'm not saying that, all those who do it are just, other, $100 bills falling out of their pockets. But that's their thing. And I love them for that because they are, and if we're all honest, it's those 25, 30, 40 team a year people who are kind of keeping this whole thing together, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like all of us fringe, sub 20, sub 15, sub what, we're here and there and we pop into those contests when we can. We love it, but it just doesn't fit our agenda. But I love that question. That's one of the best questions I've ever been asked. But then you know what? The sad part is I would go down. I would do to me to get my tail whooped still.
Well, and I asked that for partly because, I went to Demopolis last, I don't know, it was the end of November or 1st of December and helped Cody, and I may have my wording wrong. It was an open. His points, the scoring, he only got points for the 2 meets because he's a backyard team, but he cooked 4 meets. So I mean, it was an interesting day for sure, and I enjoyed being there. But I was like, holy moly, I don't know if I ever see myself doing this.
Garth, I think you're probably still watching. Is it Garth's event that was 4 individuals, like the chicken burn, the rib burn?
I don't have any idea.
I think it was. Garth, if you're on here, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's like on the Friday nights, how several contests do a sanctioned chicken burn or a sanctioned rib burn, right? I mean, those are the 2. Of course, steak used to be it, and KCBS steak fell off and whatnot. But they used to, or at Smoke on the Shores at least, they had both. Actually, they had chicken because turkey and that whole thing. That doesn't matter. It's just barbecue team chicken, barbecue team ribs. And I know 2 years ago, Backyard guys whooped up on the 4 meat guys, like up and down the top 10. It was
Okay, yeah, that's I see what you're saying now. Yeah, and Cody just answered. No, it was like a pro event. I mean, it was all all proteins on that one
okay.
day.
I
Yeah.
had thought that it was like a chicken one here. It was scheduled like a pro,
Okay, you're
but
right.
chicken was its own category, and then a separate competition was ribs, and then a second was pork, and a fourth was Brit. That's what I understood. But if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Been wrong
Yeah,
once.
and Cody can correct me, but this was an event. Yeah, he only got points for chicken and ribs,
Okay,
and I think
there you
if he would have GC'd it, it would not have. He wouldn't have had to step up and
go. Correct.
cook.
Yes.
Pro.
Yeah.
It didn't affect any of that.
Yeah.
It was just an opportunity for him to go cook 4 meats without it, overall affecting his standings, other than the chicken and ribs.
So where do y'all see? We had talked about it a little bit, kind of before the show started. Where do y'all see? And I before I say this, let me ask one other question. And Mike, to you, and then Jason. Do y'all only go for sanctioned events, or if there's a community non-sanctioned, but it is a good cause or something close to you, what are you going for that as well? Like, what's y'all's focus when you team up for your calendar?
My focus is mainly KCBS sanctioned events. I will cook non-sanctioned events like the one that Jason puts on. It's basically a KCBS style cook, but it's non-sanctioned. I enjoy specific turn-in times, and I'm a creature of habit. I've got these timelines I like to cook by. So that's my view is the more KCBS sanctioned events that I cook, the better off I like it.
Yeah, same here. I mean, I'm willing to do a non-sanctioned local event if it just means getting to cook, getting to compete. That's fine with me. But so far, we've really focused on the battle royal stuff, the Alabama, the 256 stuff. That's that's where our heart is.
Okay, I got a KCBS. I put in my zip code. I started at 250 miles. And I have slowly creeped it up to about 350 miles and I pretty much know all of them now. I can't do this one. I can't do that one. I don't know but those are the ones I go to. Sands, the Royal. Haven't cooked really anything past about 350 miles from it, which is why I was asking earlier, like how y'all figure out your calendar and things like that.
It's basically a time thing or mileage thing, kind of just like you're doing. Cody and then went down to Florida. He's been twice this year, and that may be something we have to look into in the future, just for the simple fact that we're losing local stuff. So we'll probably have to venture out eventually.
Will y'all cook any GBA?
That's a good question. I've got friends that do off the chain. They cook GBA, and I'm friends with Chuck and Carrie. Talk to them about it. Chuck is very good. It'd be tough to go into that format. I would consider it if something was closer. But again, the drive, I don't want to drive all the way to South Georgia to do it. If we had something within a 2 to 3 hour drive, I'd probably try it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've ever done a GBA. I've heard great things about them. Would absolutely love it because I think pork is my strongest category.
Three trips.
And I just see 3 trips and there it is. I don't know, man. I mean, I probably the next one I'm cooking is Springfest, which is we're not in April yet, but towards the end of April. Now the main reason I cook that is I'm used to cook Smoke Slam with Booger Bear. Smoke Slam been happening. I'm actually teaming up with Team Water Dog, which is a Florida-based team from Memphis in May. And so Springfest in South Haven, Mississippi, notoriously has been the quote tune-up on the MBN side for Memphis in May, and then previously Smoke Slam. Okay. But it's a great contest. The trophies are, they could be a little better. They're bigger bowling trophies and whatnot. They don't venture too far outside the box. But man, it's a great time. And the ancillaries is really what's fun about it. in that they have every type of sauce, and there's like 8 different ancillaries. Now, awards suck if you didn't do any of that. If you just did, like, let's say you did MBN ribs only, you're waiting forever because it's kids queue, then it's ancillaries, then you know. But it's another great contest in my opinion. From Nashville, it's 3.5 hours, so it's not far in my opinion. But it's still
it'd be a good 5.5 hours for us from where we're at to South Haven.
Yeah, that's but
we may have to look into it.
And you could venture out.
Yeah.
You could venture out, or maybe there could be a Blinkies. Mind if I, where y'all do too, and I'll do too. Or if you want to do, we'll all collaborate on pork.
Looks like Rolling Smoke just said I'm going with him to Springfest. So.
But it's another good one that I like to do, and it just, the fact that these comps, like we mentioned earlier, are falling off, are going by the wayside, are pausing. Man, we got to get it together. Like we have to figure out from inside working out, what you say. But to bring myself back to the point, the issues, unfortunately, that were like at Smoke on the Shores a couple weeks ago. Here's my thing. If this was anything else, don't you think some heads would have rolled by now?
Oh, definitely.
Don't you think people would have been picketing?
Absolutely.
And we, the collective we are, but we're doing it right here. We're doing it online. And I know, and there's very good friends of mine who are board members, and I support them because at the end of the day, it takes these volunteer type people to, I call them the bumpers, like on a bowling alley. They're the ones who, and constantly bowling balls getting beat up by them back and forth. And, but you know what? That's A, kind of the job that they went up for, but B, I trust them to keep things in parameters. But at the end of the day, almost 100% of the board are active cook teams as well. And so here's my question. At what point is enough enough?
That's a good question. It really is. We see it several times a year that there's a problem at a competition with scoring, and they have to come back and correct it, or whatever, for whatever reason. We've already seen it this year. We've seen it a few times last year. And the thing to me is, the ones we see, we know about. How many do we not know about? How many things get slid through that were not scored right, and we don't have any idea that it was wrong?
Yep.
So,
well, and like I said earlier, it's 2026. I mean, we've got apps, we've got AI. The technology is endless.
We got AI in toilets. Okay, there's AI in toilets these days.
Right. So I mean, there's really, I don't mean to be crude, but there's really no excuse for it. I mean, assign a QR code to each team, and go to Scantron. I don't know the exact answer, but there's got to be a way to take some of the human error possibility out of it.
Did y'all read? So, and for anybody who doesn't know, a couple weeks back, Smoke on the Shores, there was a scoring unique error specifically in the brisket category, which was for pros. It has been said, determined, posted, it was limited to that. Fine. But I'm going to ask you guys this question. If you had to pick one, which is quote unquote more detrimental, more hurtful, or upsetting, let's just go with upsetting. Which is more upsetting? When scoring errors happen, the teams who publicly were called for their blank place category call, but come to find out were actually ranked lower once it's corrected. And so they got false walks, they got false hugs, placard, trophy, money, possibly. Is that for that team and for peers of that team and for that non-walk, right? That's what it is. It's a fake walk. Is that worse, or is it the teams who rightfully, once scoring is calculated again, rightfully XYZ place, who didn't get the walk, who didn't get those hugs, and they went to another team? Your opinion, Mike, first.
I'm going to say, to me, it would be an equal letdown, because the guys that did not get to walk, when they found out, they didn't get their opportunity. The guys that did walk, they were disappointed that that wasn't their true call. So it's hard to say which is worse. It's a terrible situation, and thank God we are a barbecue family,
Yes.
and we can come together and correct something.
I mean, both sides are pissed. There's
Yeah,
no
sure.
other
Oh, yeah.
word. Because now you told all these people and all the live streams going that I got blank place pork, right?
Yep.
But they come to find out I was 20 spots lower.
Yeah.
And then the guy who got a perfect 180, who sat on his hands, is pissed, but then actually should have been and was denied that.
I'm with Michael to a certain point. That's a tough question to answer because, like you said, they're both pissed. But I'm gonna side a little bit on the guy. I would be a little more ticked that I didn't get my walk that I deserved, because let's face it, what are we there for?
To walk.
You're there to hear your name called and to walk.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, yeah, it's not a good situation on either side, because that's not good.
Well, and that's the thing. And I've only been in it since around the COVID time, and competition barbecue, but loosely, but specific to KCBS. So I don't have all the details. I'm not the Rolodex of the the Darrens of the world and the Heath Riles and all these kind of more legendary teams that have been in KCBS since way before, right? I'm positive there were scoring issues back in the day. I'm positive of it. I'm also positive that there was social media available then, maybe not to the main vein and as grandiose and it's in everybody's pocket these days, but it does seem like there's a something that it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be this way. And let's be honest, raise your hand if you think it is not about money that would, quote, solve this issue. Raise your hand if you think it's not that. No, it comes down to money, right?
Yeah.
So here's my plea, right? Since this is, I'm the only host tonight, here's my plea, KCBS. Put a number out there. Get 3 quotes. Do it like a municipality, right? Put it out there. Say, hey, teams, and by the way, maybe y'all or maybe y'all in the has this happened at a, quote, backyard at a 2-meet event, or has it really only been to the 4-meet so far that we know of? Do y'all know of a 2-meet that there was a scoring issue?
Yeah, we do. Matter of fact, last year with the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
With that event, we had an issue with some scores didn't get dropped that was supposed to. We were, a spot higher than we should have been, and once it was all corrected, it all came out in the wash. But yeah, it's happened on the backyard side.
All right. So go ahead, Jason.
No, yeah, that's exactly what I was fixing to bring up. Yeah, we have seen it happen firsthand, and we're involved in it on a 2-meet.
So it's affected both categories, right? Both sides, if you will. Nobody wants to pay more money, right? Like, I'll be the first to say that. However, I bet there's enough teams. Man, maybe it's $20, maybe it's $5, maybe it's $100, maybe it's whatever it is. But I bet you dollars to donuts that if KCBS said, hey, we think we have an updated system, we think we could get this, but we still are a nonprofit, it's not in our budget, we don't have the money. Fine. Comprehend. Here's what we're asking from all teams. Put a blanket out there.
Yeah.
Make the minimum, right? Because you could do this with any crowdfunding thing or whatever. You can make a minimum donation, which I would think would probably be $20.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's what I was going to say. 20 bucks a team or whatever. That I mean,
and leave it uncapped. But if it was 20, man, that's got to get KCBS as a society that much closer, right? And I'm just one person. I'm the little peon team who does it, but I still care about it. I'm still a member. I still paid my dues. I'm not bashing them. I'm just saying, to your point, it's 2026. Yeah. There has got to be something out there, and we know it's going to take money. Come on. We all know the little engine that could, right? Yeah. But let's see the effort to it. But it's like, you have to first admit you have a problem. And again,
first world problems.
Yeah. But it's and there are so many great people. I am not under any circumstances bashing the effort, the sacrifice, the draw from the people in this thing that we love.
Not at all. No. It sucks from a team side, big time.
It does. And when it happened more recently on the biggest stage, that was a red flag. And then it happened, and I hate for Smoke on the Shores and everybody involved that's the second time for that. Not to the grandiose part, not to that. And they got in front of it. Okay, all great. But I'm gonna say this. It's now happened 4 times in my short-term professional competition barbecue career, and I'm a nobody, but man, first strike, second strike, third strike, and now, okay, strikes are getting lesser. It's like a half strike because there's only brisket. But come on, guys. Come on. So.
And it does suck, I'm sure, from their end to have to get up there and announce it. Look, we've screwed up. That's a hard pill to swallow on their side.
And
but
guess what? Yeah. Everybody else in that audience, you know what they were thinking? You know exactly what they were thinking. Oh, it's just brisket?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Yep. You put doubt in everybody's mind at that point.
I believe them. Sure. I do, because I have no other choice to, because if I didn't, I'm probably gone. I mean, I might still dabble, but I could give a rip if it's sanctioned or not. I'll still do this and that and whatever. But I'm going to the website. I'm doing this. And again, I know there's so many thankless things that are done. There's board meetings that are sat in that are just monotonous and this. There's arguments here. There's sidebar conversations. There's this. There's the did you guys see the whole thing of Rod Gray and Brad Leininger getting basted of Rod's article in there where he called out?
Oh, yeah.
Brad. Yeah. And Brad made the shirt, "I'm leaving early," right? And donated $4,000 to it, to the foundation. And I talked to Rod at Smoke on the Shores about it. 1v1. I talked to Rod. Now, Rod brought it up. Yes, you did, Rod. Yes, you did. I didn't bring it up. I was talking to Rod Gray. Like, "Hey, man, how you doing?" And Rod had some unique insights. He did. And that conversation will stay between Rod and I. But I did tell him this. I think that when Brad did that whole shirt thing, he put Rod Gray in checkmate. And I told him that because he's donating all the proceeds or 100% or whatever it was. Sorry, Brad, for whatever you put to the KCBS Foundation. So there's that. Gentlemen, I think at the end of the day, we all kind of like barbecue, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
well, hey, listen. So before we end this, talk to me about how y'all felt on stage once you heard it there. Let's kind of begin to close out with because you had said that you walked and you won ribs, right? So take us back. You win ribs and you go back to your seat, right?
Yeah, go back to my seats, and Cody's looking over at us. He's like, "Y'all won this." I'm like, "No, man, no way." So it was just unbelievable that when we got down to the final, when they did the RGC and the GC, I still can't believe it today that we won it, because we were just going to cook and have fun. We were not points chasers. we take what we do serious when we go do it, but first and foremost, we go to have fun. So it's unbelievable to me that we want it. How do you feel about it, Jason?
It was a spectacular feeling because, and we have made a lot of friends in the North Alabama series stuff, and we know most of the people that were there. We were kind of tabulating in our minds. All right, so and so they called out the top 10, and worked their way down. We're like, all right, they placed this, they placed this, they placed this, and wait a minute, hold on a minute. Cody hadn't got a call yet. We hadn't got a call yet. Uh-oh. And like he said, Cody was turning around, and then Hunter with Hunter's Hot Ash Barbecue, his parents were sitting in front of us, and they turned around and they were like, that's simple math. We're doing the math up here. Y'all got this. And I'm like, really? And that wasn't our first GC. We got a GC last year, but it's still, man, they're all just as fun as the first one to me.
Yeah.
And we're like, me and Michael are looking at each other, and we're like, we may have this.
Okay.
we may have this,
That's awesome, guys. I seen it. I was pumped. I knew y'all were coming on, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna say my congratulations and whatnot. But
thank you.
And it's a fun feeling when you're up there. Now, I will say this: as much as I want my first KCBS GC, I almost don't, because then I know that pressure is gonna be on me. I'm like, let's go do this again. Here we go, guys. I'm gonna get it, So I'm like timid towards it. Although that's obviously why I'm going to cook.
And last year we had kind of one goal we set out in our minds, or amongst us. Our goal last year, we just wanted for them to know that we're there.
Yeah.
We don't want to finish DAL or nothing like that. We want them to know we're there. Not a prideful thing, not anything like that, but we want to be a player in this.
Yeah.
And we had a couple of people tell us last year, you met your goal, you succeeded. You're on our radar. So, and that makes it fun. It's all in friendly. We were talking this weekend with Todd and Cody and them, and as a barbecue family, it's kind of like college football, SEC college football. We beat up on each other every weekend, back and forth, but that's what makes it fun. When whether it would have been us or Todd or anybody, Cody getting that GC, we're happy for them. We're happy for a name call. We're happy for our barbecue family. Somebody's got to win it, and this past weekend we were fortunate enough and blessed enough to come away with it.
There you go. That's what's important. Gentlemen, you've seen the show. It's been a goal of yours. It's time for the lightning round. All right, so I'm going to throw out the question. Mike, you first. First answers only, okay? And then Jason, you follow up. All right. What is your... And because y'all are a team, but I want you to answer individually. What is your walk-up song?
My walk-up song is "Walk" by Pantera.
Okay, love that.
I've been saying this for a while. If mine would have to be Clarence Carter, I'd be stroking.
Okay, we'll take that. A little bit more of a long-winded, but. Mike, you first. Your barbecue Mount Everest.
Oh goodness!
Or, I'm not Mount Everest. Rushmore, Mount Rushmore. I apologize.
As far as my biggest goal that I want to achieve, is
who would be on it?
Who would be on it?
Who would be on your meat Rushmore?
On your
who would be on it? Well, it would probably be. Let's go for some of the greatest. Brad Leiniger. He's definitely Brad. Then you'd go for something that, the backyard guys in Alabama. There's legends down there. Cody Howard. I'm gonna throw his name out there. He'll beat your brains out with ribs every weekend. The guy's just so good. And then our other buddy Todd, and Jason. I mean, I feel like we've got a pretty solid group of friends there, and I'm gonna have to go with that. That would be mine right there.
Very well, Jason.
Yeah, and me being the rookie of the group, I don't know a lot of these pro team names. I mean, I know them, but I don't know them. So this is no disrespect to them, but me being the peon that I am, I would have to go with my backyard Alabama boys, I'd have to say like Cody Howard, Todd Hudson, Gareth with Brothers Barbecue Supply.
Yeah.
Those guys are, to me, that's my meat Rushmore, because I know those guys. And like Michael said, in the backyard side of it, you got to watch them guys. Pat with Leela Q, Deviant Smoke. So I mean, I can keep naming, but those guys.
On you. He's a
Pat. You got to watch Pat. Those guys are good. Like I said, just because they're cooking two meats, it doesn't make them. They're cooking good product for sure.
Yeah. All right, each of you individually can't be your Thermopin. One thing you're always taking to a barbecue competition.
Goodness, that's a good question. One thing I'm always taking, probably my speakers for music. That's going to go.
There you go. Much to Jason's demise.
I would have to say I'm carrying that's a tough one.
Yeah, because we all have things we're going to take.
I'd have to go with my clock. I got to have my clock.
Okay. Like, and now is it a digital? Is it a certain wristwatch? Like,
I put up in our new cook trailer. I don't know if you TikTok or not, but I think they're on other stuff as well. I seen it's a 16.5-inch LED, big bad boy clock.
Okay. I don't know where you're going with 16 inches, but go ahead. No, I do.
There's no guessing in our trailer what time it is, because we know as it gets closer to turning times, we're always like, what time is it? What time is it? How much time do I got left?
Yeah.
No question now. You look up and it's huge numbers right there on the wall. So I got to have my clock.
Usually my son comes with me, but not always, especially as his flag football and stuff in season, but he's been my timekeeper. He's, my junior barbecue pitmaster. He's my barbecue buddy, and he kept time for me when it's just he and I. At Smoke on the Shores. Shout out to Charlie Eberlin with Single Tree Barbecue and Nick on the other side of Sailor Nick. I had my door open. I'm like, my batteries ran out, my digital clock, and I have a phone, but man, you got the gloves anyway. And I'm like, what time is it? Like 12:35. You got 5 minutes. Just going, and I'm like, but they help me out, and that's part of the barbecue family. So gentlemen, we're gonna wrap it up with this. Y'all have been fantastic guests on here. Super pumped for y'all for kicking off an early part of the season with the recent Grand. Congratulations again on that. But let's give you guys the floor. Mike, we're going to start with you, and with you, Jason. Tell folks where they can find you, where you're going to be next, and things that you got coming down the pike.
Well, we're going to be at Gadsden, Alabama, Smoke on the Falls next weekend. Like Jason said earlier, we're cooking on separate teams, but come by. I'll be in spot A28. If you want to come by and say hi to me, I'll be glad to talk to you. And I'd also like to thank Butcher Barbecue and the Good Charcoal.
Yep. We'll both be cooking Smoke on the Shores. And as of right now, we plan on doing all the Battle Royal stuff, North Alabama. A lot of that, you'll catch us there. Yeah, come by and say hi. Mike's team, we compete together. We're under Mind If I Smoke. My newly formed team, myself and another buddy of mine, Baptized by Smoke. You can find us on Facebook, the social media stuff. But I don't remember the spot number I'll be in Gadsden. I'm right in front of turn-ins and right by the bathhouse. So I think I'm like I don't remember, A9 something or another. I don't even remember. But yep. Come find us. Say hi. We like to chat.
All right. Very well. Gentlemen, much appreciate y'all's time. You did great. Good luck to both of you for this
It's all in love. It's all in love, man.
It is. And that's awesome. That's even better that two folks can have a team to join and go do this and then go compete individually. And that's, man, y'all got a great thing going. So keep the home.
I appreciate y'all having us. This has been one of our bucket list items to be on right on cue, man. And we finally made it.
Let's not make this the first time. Okay. Let's not make this the first time y'all are on. Let's come, and you don't have to GC to be on. Okay, let's not set that as a precedent or anything. Y'all just happen to GC recently.
It makes
Yeah.
it nice though.
It does
It
make
does.
it very well. So, gentlemen, I much appreciate it. Y'all have a great night.
Thank you.
Got it. Folks, that is it. We went a little long. If you've ever met me, you know I'm long-winded. I do apologize. And more apologize to my wife and kids who are over there banging on the door. Daddy, come on, finish up. Anyway, hey, that was Mind If I Smoke. Two fantastic people. We didn't even get into the Owl's Nest barbecue thing much in detail, where it was a single rib cook. I came in on two wheels and they kicked my butt. But nonetheless, folks, big shout out, big thank you to all of our sponsors, including Smoky Woods Barbecue, the Barbecue Bus, Brothers Barbecue Supply. I am your humble solo host, Matt, with Blinky's Offset Barbecue. Folks, we will see you right here next week with Right on Cue. Peace!